Well, welcome. I'm Paul Kearns. I have the privilege, the honor of serving as the director of Argonne National Laboratory, and I couldn't be more honored than to host this once-in-a-generational event for our laboratory. As many of you know, the original advanced photon source saw first light in 1995. A few of you in the audience today were present at that historic event. For nearly 30 years since then, the U.S. Department of Energy Office of Science User Facility has enabled scientists from around the world to make new discoveries in nearly every scientific discipline: material science, biology, chemistry, environmental, geologic, planetary science, and fundamental physics. The advanced photon source welcomes more than 5,500 users a year from industry, academia, and other national laboratories. That now includes more than 1,200 remote users on an annual basis. They conduct groundbreaking research that grows our economy and develops the next generation of scientists. Our beamline scientists are here to support them every step of the way. This user facility is one of the most productive light sources worldwide, contributing more than 2,000 publications annually, and it has led to 2 Nobel Prizes in chemistry. It is a cornerstone of Argonne's research program. To continue to advance discoveries in photon science, we began an $815 million upgrade project here at the Advanced Photon Source about a decade ago. After a year-long shutdown, the upgraded APS delivered X-ray beams to the first of its scientific beamlines just last month, signaling the next era of groundbreaking research. I cannot overstate how proud I am of the upgrade team's accomplishments during this project's lifetime. This is especially true of their resilience and ingenuity in overcoming the supply chain challenges created by the pandemic. We are now looking ahead to resuming user science at the Advanced Photon Source with a machine that will push the limits of X-ray technology in revealing the structure and dynamics of matter at the nanoscale. We are off to a great start with more than 400 user proposals already submitted. Ultimately, the Advanced Photon Source will generate X-ray beams that are up to 500 times brighter than those of the original machine. It will offer new beamlines with unprecedented capabilities, forging multiple paths to promising scientific discoveries and innovations for society. Not only will it shed light on more effective pharmaceuticals and how atoms interact, but also solve some of the biggest mysteries in history. The original APS examined moon rocks, T-Rex bones, and mummies. Just imagine what the new beamlines will observe. Our science here will help us further understand the unknown and redefine the possible. That's why we are cutting the ribbon and toasting the APS and the people who made it happen today. We have some key supporters and partners to help us recognize this dedication and the outstanding future of science at Argonne National Laboratory. They'll highlight how the discoveries made at the APS beamlines will accelerate science and technology for U.S. prosperity and security. And with our new exascale computer, Aurora, the APS will be even more capable of doing cutting-edge research at much faster speeds. The APS upgrade has been the work of hundreds of people from across the laboratory, and we're grateful for all of your contributions. In addition to researchers, we've also had project managers, construction workers, procurement professionals, operations staff, and many more who made the safe construction of the APS possible. And even if you did not directly work on this project, your support and cooperation really contributed to its success. We're also completely grateful, especially grateful, I should say, for the leadership of the U.S. Department of Energy and our Office of Science leaders for their valuable support. The project has also succeeded thanks to the support of our elected officials and industry partners from across the country and around the world. Today would simply not be possible without having such a strong and diverse set of partners with us every step of the way. Let me close by thanking you all again for being here to help us celebrate this momentous occasion for Argonne and for the exciting future of science in our country. At this time, I'm really thrilled to introduce our next speaker for today's celebration. Dr. Jerry Richmond is the Department of Energy's Undersecretary for Science and Innovation. In this role, she oversees the Office of Science applied to R&D areas, of nuclear, fossil, renewable energy, energy systems integrity in many of the national laboratories in their facilities. So please join me in welcoming Undersecretary Richmond.
Great. This is really great. It's so great to be here, and it's so great to have that come up first. That's really great. So thank you, Paul, so much. If you couldn't tell, I'm really excited to be here with all of you today to celebrate the conclusion of this year-long upgrade of the upgrade of the advanced photon source, and then returning to this amazing facility to the global scientific community. I think even the sun showed up to celebrate with us. You know, it's lots of photons up there, lots of photons here too, so it's indeed great. So first, though, I really want to say how much I appreciated being included in this National Laboratory-led event. I've been watching this for many years, in fact, several decades, when I've been involved in the Department of Energy and the planning for this. Our national laboratories, our DOE national laboratories, really are the jewels, the crown jewels of this country in science and engineering. And we can tackle some of the hardest problems that are out there, long-term, large-scale challenges for this nation and for the world. So, as you know, most of you may know, DOE's mission is to ensure America's security and prosperity by addressing its energy, environmental, and nuclear challenges through transformative discovery science and innovative technology solutions. Secretary Granholm, the amazing secretary that I serve for, often says, we are the Department of Energy, but we are the Department of Solutions, too. And the APS is just an excellent example of how our national laboratories are transforming science into innovative solutions for today, but also tomorrow. The APS is laying the groundwork for long-lasting and fast-charging batteries for electric vehicles, more efficient solar cells, and more energy-conscious electronics for devices. We are excited to see the new opportunities that APS coming back online will continue to serve our country and the world as a trailblazing user facility, not just for the science that comes out of it, but all the people that work on it, all the new scientists coming up the system that will be so encouraged to stay in their scientific careers and join us. That's what the APS, this upgrade, is going to contribute to. Resources like the APS are essential to the American leadership in science and technology. Scientists from all over the globe have come here and will continue to come here for the amazing facilities that are here. But finally, and most sincerely, I really want to thank all the Argonne staff. Let's see the Argonne staff hands out there, okay? Yeah, all right, all right. Big applause to them and everything they do, in their commitment, and their research, and the operations of this laboratory, who have worked tirelessly and safely, shall I say, on this project. Your efforts are driving the cutting-edge research and innovation, will sustain our nation's leadership in science and technology, and give me great confidence for our nation to thrive in science and technologies as we go forward. Yes! All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richmond, and we greatly appreciate your leadership at the Department of Energy, and it's a real treat to have you here to help us celebrate today. Argonne has also received extraordinary support from the state of Illinois. We're pleased that Governor J.B. Pritzker has prioritized making our state a hub for scientific discovery and innovation. From pioneering quantum research to life-saving public health and more, the governor has been a strong supporter of Argonne and the science community. Please welcome Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Thank you very much, Paul, and I'm a little disappointed that Jerry got the big video before her entrance. I got nothing. Thank you really to everybody, and good afternoon. I first want to thank the leaders here at Argonne National Laboratory, of course, Paul Kearns and Jim Kirby, Laurent Chapin, for hosting us today and for their tireless work to support scientific progress and inquiry, and of course all the scientists here and all of the staff. You do amazing work. We really owe you a debt of gratitude, all of us. And our great Undersecretary of the Department of Energy, Jerry, you bring a lot of energy with you. Thank you. Illinois has earned a reputation, I'm proud to say, as a powerhouse of science and innovation, and Argonne National Laboratory and the Advanced Photon Source are crown jewels of that infrastructure. Scientists and researchers from around the world arrive here with their most complex questions and leave with answers that drive world-changing advancements in engineering and medicine and astronomy and so many more fields. 2 Nobel Prizes, countless discoveries, world-changing collaborations. The impact that Argonne has had on our understanding of the world is astounding. And as an admirer of science and an advocate for technological advancement, I have a deep appreciation for the expert work that's done here by the most brilliant minds from around the globe. So now that I've admitted that I'm a geek for all things Argonne does, let me also say that as governor, and I'm a bit of a geek as governor generally, I am keenly aware that Argonne is an important driver of our economic growth in Illinois and serves as a linchpin of a broader ecosystem of innovation and scientific discovery here in our state. 7,500 jobs and over $1 billion in economic activity each year are supported by this national laboratory, providing opportunities for people and bolstering the economic competitiveness of our state. Argonne inspires the next generation of scientists and inventors with their entrepreneurship and STEM education programs that are investing in our brightest young minds to give them every opportunity to learn and create and discover and to become one of you one day, I'm hoping. With the upgrades to the advanced photon source that we're celebrating today, the impact of this lab in Illinois and around the world will only grow. With more powerful X-ray beams and greatly enhanced beamlines, the upgraded APS will strengthen U.S. leadership in photon sciences. I'm particularly excited about how APS is helping build out our quantum computing infrastructure too. Over the past few years, the General Assembly and I have invested in making Illinois the undisputed global capital for quantum, and Argonne is a critical piece of that vision. As a globally recognized leader in the development of materials for quantum and next-generation chips, you are helping to unleash our quantum potential. Working hand in hand with our burgeoning quantum computing infrastructure, you are driving history-altering innovation right here in our home state of Illinois. For generations, it's been through the methodical march of scientific progress that we have overcome our greatest challenges and created our greatest opportunities too. The upgrade of the advanced photon source is an important accelerant in the rigorous pursuit of progress and discovery. Thank you all for being here today, for your dedication to the betterment of our state, our nation, and of humankind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor Pritzker. It's wonderful to have you here today to help us celebrate. We really appreciate your leadership and your great passion for science and innovation, so thank you. Next, we have U.S. Representative Bill Foster, who represents the 11th Congressional District of Illinois, which includes Argonne's Lamont campus. Bill is the only physicist in Congress and co-chairs the Inventions Caucus, the R&D Caucus, the National Labs Caucus, and the Advanced Nuclear Caucus. He is certainly one of the National Laboratory's biggest champions in Washington, D.C. Before becoming a member of Congress, he was a high-energy physicist and a particle accelerator designer at Fermilab. So please extend an Argonne welcome to Congressman Bill Foster.
Well, thank you all. Yeah, thank you for that kind introduction. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Congressman Bill Foster. I sometimes introduce myself as saying I represent 100% of the strategic reserve of physicists in the United States Congress. But I think there is actually a merit to having at least one member of Congress who actually understands what a multi-bend anchromat is and how that plays into the admittance of the machine. And during my career in science, so 25 years. There's several moments that you just remember forever. There's the moment when you first had the idea and you say, we can build this thing. And then there's the moment when you actually get money to build this thing. And then there's the moment when you get it all put together. And then sometimes with a big delay when after you put it together, you finally get it working. And then the moment when you do the first physics with it. But usually there's a big delay between the time you get it put together and the time that it actually really works. And you guys are not like that. You put the thing together and it just worked, all right? And that is something everyone involved should be really proud of. According to Jim, you're up to 60% of design current and at or below design admittance. All right, you've done it. This is a world-leading machine already, and it's going to do great things for years to come. So I just wanted to thank you all. It's really important to being able to sell the success of the whole Department of Energy Office of Science program and science generally to the U.S. Congress and to the American public. If when the U.S. taxpayer makes a big risk at building a leading edge machine beyond the current state of the art, and that the money is spent, the machine is built, and it works as designed, it is something that I know I can take credit forever, and every one of you share that credit. So thank you all, and well done.
Thank you very much, Congressman Foster. We do really appreciate the great support you provide for Argonne on a daily basis and how effectively you represent not only Argonne, but the national laboratories and the Department of Energy in Congress, so thank you. Next, we'll hear from the Executive Vice President for Science, Innovation, National Laboratories, and Global Initiatives at the University of Chicago, Wanda Pablo. As a professor of molecular engineering at the UChicago School of Molecular Engineering, UChicago Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering, and as a senior scientist here at Argonne. Whoops, let me start over. Next, we'll hear from, as a professor of molecular engineering at the University of Chicago's Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering, and as a senior scientist here at Argonne, Juan knows how important user facilities are for making pivotal discoveries and educating the next generation of researchers. He also knows firsthand how impactful the relationships between the university, the Department of Energy, and Argonne are for fundamental research. Please welcome Wanda Pablo.
And it is indeed the Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering. Very important. Thank you, Paul, for your welcoming remarks. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. On behalf of UChicago Argonne LLC, which is the entity at the University of Chicago that manages and operates Argonne National Lab, I want to add my congratulations to those of Governor Pritzker and Jerry Richmond and Senator and Congressman Foster. We're so proud to be the stewards of Argonne. In that role, we actually see firsthand the amazing science that is actually being created, developed at Argonne. Paul already told us that in any given year, we have about 5,000 or 6,000 users. And over the previous life of the APS, we had over 30,000 users. Imagine that. With the new machine, advances in AI, remote access, etc., we might have hundreds of thousands of users. The impact in science and technology and everyday lives is very, very hard to measure. Just to give you an idea of the range of science that happens here, for example, some of the latest electrolytes for lithium-ion batteries are being studied here and developed here. Some of the medicines that we developed against COVID were developed by industry here at Argonne. One of the leading treatments for HIV, Calitra by AbbVie, was developed here with data from the APS. The list goes on and on and on. The APS is also an incredible entry point for career scientists, early scientists. I think that our efforts to develop the next generation of scientists is going to be critically influenced by the new facility that we have here. Now, as Congressman Foster said, this is the result of work that started 15, 20 years ago, where thousands of individuals around the globe started to think about this machine. Fast forward 20 years later, they put it all together, and it works. It is simply extraordinary. Now, that happens when you have incredible scientists, but it also happens when you have incredibly dedicated individuals at the Department of Energy who make sure that throughout generations, through crises, through budgets, through administrations, make sure that the science is delivered. They protect us, they help us, and we couldn't be more grateful. We have several of them here: Jerry Richmond, Harriet Kong, Linda Horton, and several others. Thank you for what you do for us. Equally important to deliver a facility of this magnitude, the efforts by our elected officials are extraordinarily important. We are so lucky, so privileged to live here in Illinois. Where else do you have a congressman who's actually a scientist, a PhD scientist, who was actually employed for many years by one of our national laboratories? That's just, it's unique, as you said. Where else do you have a governor that actually knows our scientists by name, travels with them, takes them on trips to look at companies, international laboratories, and continues to make sure that he creates the conditions on which we can produce our science? Governor, thank you very much for what you do for us. In conclusion, we heard already that with the previous APS, we generated 2 Nobel Prizes. We're told that this beamline is going to be 500 times more powerful than the previous one. So, Laurent, we expect 100 Nobel Prizes at least from your team. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and thank you for your work.
Thank you very much, Juan. We got that challenge on, we've recorded that challenge, right? We've got on video. We'll play that periodically to keep us all inspired and focused in the right direction. Very appropriate with the big challenge provided by Juan that we next have Dula Parkinson, a leading X-ray scientist at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory and chair of the Advanced Photon Source Scientific Advisory Committee. He and other members of the committee helped the APS review its massive scientific output and look for exceptional operational performance. They also help us look to the future and plan accordingly. Dula, the floor is yours.
So I've been tracking the progress of the APS upgrade for a long time, and it's very exciting to get to this point. This month, I've also been tracking the progress of the Tour de France, which you may know is a 2,000-mile race over 21 days. At the end of each day, they give out these colored jerseys to the leaders in different categories. The leader overall gets a yellow jersey. The leader of the sprint division gets a green jersey. And I've really loved watching the race because what you realize is that the person who gets the jersey, they don't do it alone. They have these lead-out riders who ride in front of them the whole way, actually a team of lead-out riders who take turns leading the way so that at the last minute, they can sprint forward and take the prize. And the thing I really love about this is that I feel like this is sort of like the APS. And so I'm envisioning the APS upgrade as sort of a cycling race where you have this group of the APS upgrade team. They're cycling up an enormous mountain through twists and turns, through difficult circumstances. I think I should mention that they are riding on APS tricycles. So they are going, but then a moment, the users are also in that group with them, though. And there's a moment where the APS team peels off to the side to make room for the users to storm through to that finish line and have the victory. And the thing that I find amazing about the APS is that when their users succeed, they don't take that as a threat, they don't take it as competition. The whole point of the APS is to help their users succeed and thrive, and it's a shared victory. Just like in the Tour de France, the team that has their rider get the green jersey, it's a shared victory. So what does that look like on the floor? Well, the APS team has been developing a new accelerator that has, like they said, 500 times brighter beam. They're also developing beamlines like CHEX and Polar and 8ID that take that coherence to the experiments so that the users then can take those developments and study complex materials. They can invent new quantum computers. They can invent spin-based electronics that use almost no power. They can invent synthetic cartilage that can be used in prosthetics. The APS team does things like invent the multi-scale zoom-in, zoom-out high-energy X-ray microscope. Users can come in and use that to build batteries that can charge 10 times faster and still be safe. The APS team can push the boundaries of imaging. They're making the in situ nanoprobe that can do chemical imaging at a nanoscale. They're building the Tycho probe that can have world-leading 5 nanometer resolution in 3D. Users can come in and make brand new solar cells that are more efficient and more robust. They can decarbonize cement manufacturing. So all these things can happen. And it's shared victories between the APS team and the users. So in conclusion, Dava Kivni, who you will hear from in a few speakers, she was giving a presentation at my facility, and she mentioned that you can sort of go to any big box store in the United States and buy a NASA t-shirt, but it's really hard to find a DOE Light Sources t-shirt. And so I thought that in honor of this moment of the new APS, I would remedy that. All right, so what I did is I chose green. It's like the sprint color in the Tour de France, and that represents the shared victories between the users and APS. On the design, I used the diagram for the APS upgrade that shows which beamlines and sectors were upgraded in the long beamlines. And then the phrase that I put on the middle is accelerators accelerate. And that may sound weird, but the reason I put that is because, like, accelerate is what accelerators do. And I'm not talking about accelerating the particles, I'm talking about science and just everything. The accelerators, like the APS, they're all about accelerating everything. And so once again, congratulations to the APS team, and here's to more shared victories.
Well, thank you very much, Dula. I'm sure you'll have many requests for T-shirts throughout the afternoon, so please, we're certainly grateful for your advice and the support from the rest, not only yourself, but also the rest of the Scientific Advisory Committee. Today would not have been possible without our next speaker, APS Upgrade Project Director Jim Kirby, as being a senior leader with the Upgrade Project for the past 12 years. He led a large team of employees and contractors in constructing the new long beamline building and 7 new beamlines, enhancing many additional beamlines, and replacing the entire electron storage ring. Every step of the way, he and his team safely delivered, even during the COVID restrictions. I invite Jim to the stage to provide brief remarks on the extraordinary work of the team behind the Upgrade Project. So Jim Kirby, please.
Next time we do this, I really don't want to speak after Dula, okay? It's a tough act to follow. I joined the National Lab System 38 years ago on a single-year contract, and I'm still here. I'm not sure this was ever in the cards as to something I expected to do. I just wanted to be an engineer and do some really cool things with Congressman Foster, among other people. But I'm here, and so I'd like to say a few thank yous, actually. So first to our elected officials. Thank you, whether near or far, for your support of the national labs. They truly are jewels in our country, and they are drivers of discovery. And your support, whether we're neighbors or whether it's on the national scale, is key to that. Thank you so much for doing that and continuing to do that. To the Department of Energy officials, again, those in DC and those locally, we've had a big lift the last 12 years, for me at least. Thank you so much for your continued support of the whole project team, for getting things done, for believing in us when sometimes it was a little bit shaky what we were up to, and knowing that we'd get it done right. We got through it, and the result is here today. To our users, tough act to follow, Dula, but you guys are the reason we're here. Thank you for providing the vision, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys do. I think I heard 1,000 no bells, so nobody's counting, but we are. And then finally to Paul, actually, and also Juan and the University of Chicago. So Paul's had to put up with me for a few years. He got me calibrated after a while. But thank you, Paul, for your leadership. Most labs get one big project in a year, and I think Argonne's got a couple to celebrate this year. That's pretty unusual, and to all the Argonne staff, we got a pretty unusual lab director, and we should be very happy that he's our leader and also a friend. So thank you very much, Paul. Now, all those people are critical to our success, but actually it's everybody I didn't name that I'd like to talk to a little bit. Everybody who contributed to the project, everyone here, everyone online, across the complex. We had help from other national labs, and our industrial partners. There is no way this happens without everybody's contributions over the past 10 years at least, and certainly the project was baseline before COVID and all the way through COVID. You're an incredible team. There's nobody like it in the world. And this celebration is actually about you. The APS, this renewed facility, is honestly, it's a tour de force. There is so much excellence here, whether starting in the conceptual design, in the detailed design, in the procurement, in the safety, in the quality assurance, in the installation, and now in the commissioning. It's a model for other projects across the complex, and the APS will continue to be a model, just like the last 30 years, as a facility to model across the complex and across the world. That's because of you. The facility is awesome. We did an incredible job, but without incredible people, it doesn't happen. And so at this point, I would just like to take a brief bit and applaud all of you. No matter what you should be doing, we talk a little bit about outreach and the effect on the scientific community. I hope you should be proud of what you did here. We all played a small role. There are hundreds, thousands of people who worked on this. We all had our part. I honestly hope you go home and you brag to your neighbors and you brag to your family about what you do here, because you should. This is a one-of-a-kind facility in the world. There's nothing like it in the world. Who could imagine working at a better place? For years to come, we will hear Dula and company and Laurent tell us about things they discovered on something that each of us had our part in constructing. It's going to be spectacular. So please go home, celebrate today, but celebrate life. Celebrate every day and be proud of what you did here, because you really should be. It's been incredible. And I thank every one of you for every one of those 6 a.m. meetings. I was there a lot. Dula, I tried to educate them on the Tour de France. It didn't go over really well, I gotta say. We tried soccer. That didn't go over really well either. Rugby, that got a couple hits. But y'all showed up. And I had my dad told me, he said, half of doing something right is just showing up every day. Let's just show up every day, put our foot in front of things. And I know the APS is going to be a spectacular facility for years to come. And it's not just about what we built here, it's because you're here. And there will be a problem, and there will be a challenge or something new to do. And APS and Argonne is going to solve it. You guys are spectacular. It has been an honor being a member of the leadership team of the APS upgrade for the past 12 years. I couldn't have been in a better place. Thank you so much for everything you did. And cheers.
Well spoken, Jim. Thank you very much. This time, I'm pleased to introduce Harriet Kung, Acting Director of the Department of Energy's Office of Science. Harriet sets the strategic direction for research programs ranging from advanced scientific computing research to nuclear physics and beyond. She oversees scientific discoveries and major scientific tools at the national laboratories that transform our understanding of nature and advance the energy, economic, and national security goals of the nation. Please help me welcome Office of Science Acting Director Harriet Kung.
Thank you, Paul. It's really a true honor and privilege for me to be representing Office of Science today and also to follow such a distinguished group of speakers. So as Paul mentioned, Office of Science, our mission is to transform our understanding of nature by delivering scientific discoveries and major scientific tools, such as the advanced photon source. We are showing up following what Jim just said. Office of Science has shown up 20 years ago when APS was first conceptualized. We're showing up every day along with Jim and the whole Argonne team, making sure the project is executed on time, on schedule, and also on budget, on the scope. We're also showing up today to help you celebrate this momentous moment of such an incredible journey that we have been on together. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So let me just re-emphasize the point that we have heard earlier. The APS is not just a tool that enables groundbreaking science. It also is an enabler, it's a convener. It brings together the brightest scientific minds together around the world. APS users hail from almost every state in this country and nearly 30 countries. This represents enormous impact on the direction of global science. It is a sign of American leadership in science and innovation. I recently returned from a transatlantic big science conference in Germany, which highlighted the importance of international partnerships in solving the major scientific challenges of tomorrow for the whole humanity. Across conversations, the importance of facilities such as the APS was ever present. They serve as foundations for strong collaborations and partnerships between nations, and I'm so pleased that sees many, many collaborators from around the world joining us in celebration today. And if you could also back and give me a personal reflection moment. I have watched the evolution of this project since its inception almost 15 years ago, when I was the Associate Director for Basic Energy Sciences. The project team has started down on an initial path, but was really challenged to rethink their design, thanks in large part to an insightful advisory committee facility prioritization report, so that the resulting upgrades would remain groundbreaking for decades to come. Now, decades later, as we look back, the team had made some hard decisions, taking some pretty high risks, but informed risks, as some technology had not yet been proven. And the results, looking back, was really a series of brilliant design choices that were carefully planned and executed, leading to an upgraded APS that will bring the whole scientific field forward. So let me end by saying that this upgrade showed a fourth-generation American facility can be successfully designed and built. It's a triumph of American ingenuity and dedication, with the Argonne National Lab team leading the way. So let me invite you to give the whole Argonne team a round of applause for really an excellent, excellent work for this outstanding deliverable. I also would like to take the moment to thank the Office of Science colleagues. This is a testament to the Office of Science prowess in project planning and management for world-leading facilities. Just imagine you have to pick a design that will transcend nearly 2 decades and still be world-leading at the end of the day. It really is a tremendous contribution from the whole community, including the Argonne team. So congratulations. Also, the inkling of the upgrade project appeared as a priority nearly 2 decades ago in the 2003 Facilities for the Future of Science report that has served as a veritable blueprint for our Office of Science complex over the past 2 decades. And after years of careful planning and execution, it is truly momentous for us to be standing here at this ribbon cutting. And as the APS upgrade provides valuable lessons as we finalize our renewed planning effort for the facilities that will power science in the decade to come. We greatly appreciate everyone at the APS and across the whole lab Argonne for helping us accelerate science for the whole America. We'll continue to lead the world in technological discovery and advancement, due in part all to your excellent dedication and hard work. So thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you, Harriet. We appreciate your leadership and the strong partnership with Argonne. I would now like to introduce Dava Kifni, Program Manager for X-ray Science, X-ray light sources and neutron scattering facilities in the DOE Office of Science. Her portfolio also includes the nanoscale science research centers. Dava was an instrument scientist at the APS and has been a champion of the facility's scientific work and of the upgrade project itself. Please, a warm welcome for Dava.
Okay, thank you, Paul. So I spent a good part of my career, my scientific career, at this very facility, steps away from here, and I will soon have these amazing new capabilities within my federal portfolio. So this is amazing. This is extremely exciting, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to take part in this and offer some words at this celebration. I didn't bring a T-shirt, but I am wearing APS earrings in case anyone. So one morning, when my son Noah was really little, he came down from his bedroom, looked out the living room window at a fresh layer of snow that had fallen in the night, and thought for a few moments, and then he said one of those sort of randomly profound things that little kids sometimes say. He said, "It took 1 billion nights to get to this day." And that's a true story. And in fact, this has been a long time coming. And as we neared the end of the storage ring construction and commissioning and everything, I heard it said on a couple occasions that we could see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so taking that analogy a little further, so now we've come to the light, and we find out, much to our amazement, that the tunnel actually is circular, and it has no end. And the light is actually coming from all around it. And this is really just an astonishing technological and scientific accomplishment that we're celebrating here. And it's been said before, but I don't think that we can overstate or say too many times how it has depended on the teams and the talent and skill and the professionalism of all the people involved. And the way things went with the construction and the testing, and you guys just turned it on and it worked. And that didn't just happen, right? That's a testament to the teams involved in the construction, of course, and assembly and everything, but also the many years of careful design and engineering, management and logistics and everything and all of that. And so now a new light is shining, and the APS is on the cusp of its second era of world leadership in X-ray science, and be proud of that for goodness sake. Like Jim says, like, go home and brag about it, because you all did that. You know, you in the back, you did it too. So I don't know if I'm conveying my excitement about this as well as I could be, but as for what the future holds for this new era, it's very hard to predict, as we have been discussing, because we don't really know. We only know that just like that day for Noah was different from every other day that he had before, because all those days and nights went into it, right? Like it, and sort of created that day. So too will this new era for the APS be. We don't know, right? Every challenge that has come forward, every success, every frustration, every failure, every ingenuity, everything that you all went through has gone into making this present, and it will continue to push forward into the future and shape that future. So there's going to be different challenges and different successes, and they're going to depend also on the relationship between the teams that are involved, the users, the staff, and everyone. And the good news is I know firsthand that this is something that all of our BES user facilities do extremely well. So I have utmost faith and excitement about what's going to happen next. So instead of predicting, I'll just sort of relate my expectations for the future. No number of Nobel Prizes or anything like that, but by borrowing a quip from Mark Twain, he said, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it sometimes rhymes." And knowing the history of APS, I know there's going to be some really interesting and creative rhymes coming out of all of you using this amazing new machine that you've constructed. Thank you so much, and you have my gratitude.
Thank you very much, Dava. And let's give a big thank you to all of our speakers and really everyone that had supported the upgrade of the APS. I also want to express my appreciation for DuPage County Board Chair Deb Conroy and the Mayor of Lamont, John Igofsky, DOE Acting Associate Director for Basic Energy Sciences, Andrew Schwartz. I saw Andrew here earlier. Hopefully he's here. And as I said at the beginning, reaching this point has been the work of hundreds of people from across the laboratory and throughout our larger scientific community. I'm really grateful for your resilience, your talents, the exceptional efforts to make the APS light the way in really a discovery-rich tomorrow. Now it's time to cut the ribbon on the renewed APS facility. We'll be launching this new era with a toast. May I ask the speakers and our invited guests to cut the ribbon to please make their way to the ribbon cutting area. The rest of you, please remain seated while glasses for the toast are distributed to see this wonderful and enjoy the wonderful documentary about the journey of the upgraded APS. After the video and the ribbon is cut, please, you can move that way, please. After the video and the ribbon is cut, Laurent Chapon, Associate Laboratory Director for Photon Sciences and Director of the APS, will take the stage and have the final word at today's dedication. Laurent joined us in 2022, and his leadership has truly been invaluable for the upgrade as it moves towards its conclusion. Those of you cutting the ribbon, please join me at the ribbon, so please.
The APS has been a fantastic facility since it started in the mid-1990s. However, even in the early 2010s, it was clear that with advances in design technology, that massive increases in the performance of the machine could be realized.
Many light sources around the world were taking advantage of all the new technology that's been developed over the years and enhancing their capabilities, and we wanted to maintain that competitive advantage throughout the scientific community.
I think the biggest challenge has been the scope of work for this project. We are not only installing an entire storage ring, but we're upgrading beamlines at the same time, sharing resources between the storage ring and the beamlines and coordinating all that work to make sure it can happen in a year timeline.
Some of the beamlines are going to see a 10,000-fold improvement in their sensitivity. So we're looking to upgrade all of the optics, all of the detectors to try to get the best possible science out for the scientific community.
It requires a massive change to the machine and the facility, and in our case, required removing 1.1 kilometers of the previous machine and installing a brand new 1.1 kilometer storage ring.
I think safety was the primary principle in planning for the shutdown. Looking at things and saying, okay, so here's where we want to end up. Here are some of the things that have to happen in order for it to get there. Now, how do we do all of that safely? And if you couldn't make all of those things mesh, then it was back to the drawing board to start the plan all over again.
2022, we started assembly of the modules. Building 91 was a completely empty building. We had to furnish it. We had to put clean rooms in, shelving, all kinds of things that it was basically an empty shell. Once we got that infrastructure put in place, we started getting all the equipment in place to begin assembly.
For the module assembly process, that team did an amazing job. They outlined the procedures or the steps they wanted to take to assemble everything together. And they got everybody involved to make sure they fully understood the impact of the things they were doing and were being as careful as they could be.
So as we started taking things out of the APS tunnel, it was a point of no return. Seeing an empty tunnel was pretty incredible, actually.
I want to equate it to, if you ever ridden a roller coaster, right? When you first get in that seat and they buckle up that belt and you're like, I don't think I can turn back at this point. And we got to do it. Watching the new storage ring come together and that first module go in, I think was a sense of relief as well as accomplishment. Huge sense of accomplishment.
As part of the APS upgrade project, we're bringing on brand new beam lines. We're calling them feature beam lines. These have the best optics, instrumentation, detectors.
To install beam lines, we're placing things within 250 microns of accuracy, which is about 1/4 of a millimeter. It's very tight.
So we can get the highest scientific impact out of those beam lines going forward.
And then just seeing it come together, seeing an installation where it's like, this is something that is huge and has taken up so much time and resources for all across the facility, and just seeing it come together flawlessly without any issues just made me really happy. It was just like, you're taking a lot of pride in your work at that point, and it just makes you feel good on the inside.
The lead up to the shutdown included years of COVID and everything associated with that, years of supply chain disruptions, and those aren't things you normally plan for. The ability of our team and our industrial partners to figure out solutions to every hiccup that came through was just brilliant. And at the end, there's nothing that would have happened in the past year without the team.
The potential, once the advanced photon source is back up, is just incredible. And so I can't wait to see what walks through the doors.
So for me, the proudest moment is when we got those first x-rays back on the beam lines. So much work had been done over the past couple of years, and now to get those first x-rays back and the promise of that to the scientific community, it's very exciting to me. And I really look forward to hearing from the researchers in the next few months when they start to get results from their beam lines, telling me that they're seeing something they've never seen before, and they're very excited about that, to present the results to the scientific community.
I think as a team, we worked well together. Otherwise, this would have never worked, specifically in the time frame that they wanted. And when you get done, that last piece that came in, I was like, wow, this is it. It's finally over. It was a satisfying feeling, I'll tell you. It was incredible.
One of the glories of the APS and any light source is that almost immediate impact. So when I say I look forward in the future to reading a weekly update on things, it is on that sort of a time scale. And it does impact the world around us in a very immediate way. And I think that's something that I'll look forward to doing, and knowing I played a small part in helping make that happen.
Come on. Can you guys hear me? You rock. So, are you boiling in the sun? Yeah. Well, we turn off the machine because remember, it's about 500 billion times brighter than the sun. So we thought we'd turn it off for today. So I don't want to repeat everything that was said. I would just want to say it was an absolutely pleasure to work on this project. The collaboration between all the teams and the Office of Science and DOE has been amazing. So I don't want to keep you for too long. I just want to say thank you to all of the staff that has been involved. I know the 6 a.m. calls have been tough, 11 months in a row. And by the way, we're continuing that with more work to come to bring people up. So I couldn't be more thankful for all of the effort of the staff and the due diligence and the discipline during this period. So this is for you. You should feel very, very proud of what you've achieved. And so let's celebrate together. You all have a glass? All of you in the back? Are we ready? So let's start. I realize that I'm in between you and the reception, so I'll be brief. Let's celebrate. Thank you so much. You should feel extremely proud. Let's toast to the APS, the next 2 or 3 decades of discovery that it will enable. And our staff is so committed to making this a success that they bring some of the work home day after day. And they also use some of their spare time sometime to innovate in a different way. So as we drink, I will let you enjoy one of the video and a parody of a song that one of our staff, Frida Humble, has been working on for the last few weeks. And it's really amazing. So please enjoy, congratulations, and to the next 2 decades of science.
At the Advanced Photon Source, there's been an upgraded X-ray beam. Argonne National Laboratory is where discoveries spring. The APS is power, precision, and brilliance, firing the photons as was designed. Accelerator ring is set. It's been many years of sweat, extraordinarily bright. It's a brand new beam, X-rays like you've never seen. Our science will reign supreme, guaranteed to blow your mind. Anytime, I recommend it for the prize of amazing beam design. You wanna try? To avoid complications, everything must pass the test. Components and optics, all will be the very best. The shutdown is ending, in time to start commissioning our technical and scientific capabilities. Parts ordered naturally from Paris, except for what's from Amos, meticulous and precise. It's a brand new beam, X-rays like you've never seen. Our science will reign supreme, guaranteed to blow your mind anytime. Diffraction and crystallography, compression and tomography, waiting for your interaction, welcoming you back to absolutely drive you wild. We'd like to see you use the brand new beam, X-rays like you've never seen. Our science will reign supreme, guaranteed to blow your mind anytime. Recommend it for the prize of amazing beam design. You wanna try?